Well, it's time for another round of Box in a Box. So this is me telling you that this box is the big box. Let's see what's in the small box inside. And we have gotten to the second box. And I will say this, Sweetwater does a really good job of getting things packed up safely and adding things like the humidipack during cold weather and just basic in general weather. And this is no exception to that rule, because they have done a great job of getting it all together, and I am anxious to see how it all looks when it's on the inside of this box. So let's get this other box open, and I'll be right back. So this guitar does not come with a case, but I had them package it up in the Dreadnought case that's made by Epiphone, because I wanted it to have a little bit more protection than just normal packing material. So this is a lot of material, but it's also because there's a case that is in there that is for the guitar that rests inside of it. And I will say this, some people say that Sweetwater can't get Sweetwater to do a deal where they put guitars in the cases they order for them. I do not have that problem. All right, that's going to be more challenging than not. So I'm going to lay this over and pull this out this way, because it will make it so much easier to get this out. I said as if I thought it was actually going to make it easier to get that out, didn't I? But what rests inside here is the Epiphone E-Dread case that is protecting a model of Dove that I wasn't really planning on doing, but at Sweetwater you can look at all the different ones they have, and this particular one showed up, and I couldn't help but notice something about it that made it unique versus all the rest of the ones that were also listed on the website. So, without further ado, I guess it's time to open the case and see what this is. Now, we talked about doing the Epiphone inspired by Gibson Hummingbird. And they also make an inspired by Gibson Dove. Now, the Dove is, I believe, a studio or something like that. But as you look at this guitar, you'll see it identifies as a Dove, but has a Hummingbird pickguard. Now, is it one of one? Probably not. There's probably several of them out there, because these are made in a factory well and away, far away from the United States and Gibson's normal customer service and everything. But this is the Epiphone version of what used to be called a HummingDove. In the 60s, there was a limited time where they found a set of guitars that left the factory appointed as Hummingbirds, and then had the back and sides of a Dove. So those guitars were nicknamed HummingDoves. And this is kind of a modern iteration of that kind of deal. Now these cases, I want to point out, this case is really nice, and it's way on par with the Gibson cases. And the standard little, Fishman stuff and little stickers and stuff. That's just the stuff you get every time with the Epiphone stuff. And this is new though. Download the Gibson app and get a 14-day free trial. But overall, this guitar is unique, not just because of it's pretty, but because it has a Hummingbird appointment on a Dove body. Now, will that make a difference in playability? Nope, probably not. It will probably look and sound just like everything else, but it's unique enough that I wanted to see it in person and wanted to share it with everybody else, because how often do you find a modern version of a HummingDove? So, and again, the case is nice. I have a lot of respect for these E-Dread cases. We had the inspired by Gibson J45 and one. The Slash J40 Cat 5 came with one that was already a Slash case specific to the Slash model. But these guitars are actually pretty well appointed. I mean, I'm a little intrigued by that. Not used to seeing that on a neck, but the inlays and everything are actually very pretty on this. So I'm going to be anxious to play this one because it is something that I'm fond of, which is the Dove, and unique with a little something extra. So, first time sitting down with the HummingDove, and I've already discovered something about this guitar that is probably indicative of the way the guitar is built. Now, I'm going to unplug this so you can hear that this cable is live. So, that said, we can diagnose that this cable is coming all the way from the guitar to the amplifier. But yet, no matter what you turn up, on the Fishman system, there's no noise coming out, which is probably a battery. If I had to guess, this is probably a battery powered system. So somewhere in here, there's a battery that has worked its way loose, or a battery that is not, that is dead. I mean, realistically, if you go by Gibson numbering system, this guitar is a 2022, but I'm pretty sure that this is an Epiphone numbering system is just like all the other Epiphone guitars, which means that the first two digits is your year, and that would make this a 2021. So here we are in January, or actually in February now, of 2023, and this guitar is approximately 2 years old. So perhaps the battery is dead, perhaps the electronics are dead. No matter what, the guitar probably passed when it got into Sweetwater's deal but has sat around long enough that whatever happened is dead. So, bottom line, this guitar, I will not be able to give you a sound demonstration of the pickup system because there is no way to do that. But I'm not going to let that stop me from picking around on it and doing some notes, because it is actually a pretty nice guitar, and the neck feels great. Everything about this guitar is amazing except for that lack of pickup system. And like I say, I've pointed this out when I first did this. The appointments on this guitar are absolutely spot on to what you think a Epiphone version of a Dove should be. So this is not me saying that the guitar is bad. It's me saying that Fishman electronics on this guitar is not good. That said, I'll let the guitar speak for itself. I hate these strings. I can already tell you without a shadow of a doubt that my least favorite part of this guitar is the strings. And the fact that these strings just keep coming on these Epiphones is really indicative of where their ideas are when it comes to what the budget is, I guess, for these guitars. Because you can just hear how inexpensive the strings are. They're not good. And that's sad because I think this guitar is drastically drugged down by bad string. When I go to play this guitar against a Gibson Dove, I will have conditioned the fretboard and I will have changed the strings because these strings are terrible. And it very much reminds me of the inspired by Gibson J45 and J200, where the strings really were dragging it down. And after changing those strings on those two guitars, they were drastically better guitars. So this will wind up with Elixir 12 gauges because it deserves better. Now, whether or not I keep it or not, maybe so, maybe not. I might talk to Sweetwater about maybe giving me a little discount since the pickup does not work, but no matter what, we'll probably keep it around for a little bit. For right now, though, I will go ahead and do a little more finger picking as well as strumming to give you an idea of what this guitar sounds like without a pickup system in it, or rather with a dead pickup system in it, so that you will have at least something to know what this guitar plays and sounds like. And like I say, the neck feels amazing. It is absolutely spot on what I think the Dove neck should be. It's almost like, it's more like the 60s neck than the modern neck. And the modern neck is very similar, but this one feels more like the 60s neck. And I don't know if that's by design or if that's something else. But there's something about this one that when you run your hand up and down the neck, it feels more like the 63 Dove. Or actually, as much as that, for that matter, it feels kind of like the The Hummingbird neck feels a little thicker than this. So I don't know what the deal on that is, but I can tell you that there's a difference. I just don't know what the difference is. I don't know what it's... I don't know exactly what it is, but I can tell you right now, there is a difference, and this neck feels great. Fingerboard really does feel pretty good. But man, these strings are so bad. They're so dead. It's just, like I say, if you get one of these guitars, take the time to condition the fretboard, change the strings, because it'll make a difference. So I would definitely say that the feel of this guitar, for a $400 guitar, $600 with the case and the guitar delivered to your house, I would definitely recommend something like this. If you are on a beginner budget for having a guitar, or you're just looking for a guitar to have out and about, I would not recommend you rely on this pickup system, because obviously this one is defective or the battery's dead. And when I go to restring it, I'll see if I can figure out if it's the battery. But this guitar, like I say, the strumming on it is really good. I mean, like I say, and it resonates really well. And the cool air is not helping keep this guitar in tune at all, but so at the end of the day, would I recommend one of these guitars as a budget guitar? Only if you're planning on not relying on the Fishman. I'd love to hear what the Fishman sounds like, and I will desperately try to fix it. But if I can't fix it, just know that I'll post something when I do, because I'm going to keep this one at least long enough to compare it to the modern Gibson Dove, which, by way of comparison, is a 10 times the price guitar. So compare this one as a laminate back and sides with a solid spruce top to a $4,000+ actual Gibson Dove, and you will always, I'm willing to bet, come out with the Gibson on top. That said, I'm going to give this one a fighting chance by conditioning the fretboard, changing the strings, and seeing if I can fix the pickup system. But as of right now, that's all I can give you. And this guitar, like I said, it looks really good and it plays great. The sound, not the greatest. I would definitely say that this is one of those moments where you should budget a pair of strings and some time to set it up in your purchase of one of these guitars, because the action is great. Man, the action is nice and low and smooth and everything, but the strings are just terrible. But again, could be the age of the guitar, considering it's 2 years old almost, and the fact that it could have been sitting in customs for who knows how long, considering it's coming from the quality made in Indonesia area. So that's it. Until next time, this is me saying, pick one up, see if you like it.